If I had heard this message years ago, I would have saved myself so much pain, confusion, and self-blame. This is the message that I wish someone had told me sooner. The message that you'll probably need to hear today. Watch this video. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I hope that you're all doing really well. So I wanted to make this video a little bit personal, okay, and talk about certain things that I have found useful on my own healing journey. And these are the things that I wish someone had told me, which would have helped me to recover a lot faster. Now, a lot of this, okay, a lot of things that I was discovering are on the channel. This is what I was making videos about. But this video is a little bit more personal, but I feel like if I talk about these things, maybe this might help you. This might kind of help to inspire you to think about things differently and really help you on your healing journey. Of course, I've just got to say that I do talk about this a lot more and a lot deeper in the Patreon mentorship. So do check it out because all the details are in the description box. Obviously, over there, I talk about more personal things, more kind of relevant topics, and topics that I don't really talk about here over on YouTube for various reasons. So I do like talking about those things more over on the Patreon mentorship. But today I really want to talk about the message that I wish that someone had told me sooner, and that would have helped to really empower me going forward. So what I have learned, I want to kind of reveal on this video today. So the first thing that I wish someone had told me is that you're not broken, and basically that you were conditioned. So this is all about trauma, and trauma is something that is learnt over time. It's a way. Trauma is something that is quite difficult or untoward that happens to you in a moment in time. And your body, your mind at that time, in that moment, struggles to understand what is happening to you. So it tries to cope in the best way that it can. So in that moment when it's trying to cope, it's also coding messages of, this is how I learned to cope with this situation, and this is what's happened to me. So this is what I'm going to do. This is how I will cope. So when another trauma or when another traumatic experience or situation happens, you always go back to that time and you remember how you coped with that situation, and then you just repeat the same cycle. It's a memory, and when you're facing something that's difficult, your mind goes back to that memory to try and retrieve it and think, what was the best way that you coped with it, or that you remembered? This is how you deal with it. But this is not an inherent flaw. It just means that you can work on this now that you are in a more grounded state. You can now see this in a different light, work on it, and try and cope with a situation that perhaps maybe you are facing that is very similar to what you did before, but in a different way. You didn't fall, you had to adapt. And this is all about the psychology of the survival mode. Your brain, your body doesn't function in the way that it normally would when you are baseline. So it is trying to cope with a situation that is particularly difficult. Okay, so it learns how to cope with this situation in this way. Narcissistic dynamics rewire your brain, they rewire your self-esteem, so that then you think you are the one that is the problem. And I've seen this time and time again throughout my work and also in my own experience. What it does do is it makes you think that you're the one that has got the issue, that there's something wrong with you. And it's like basically you're trying to see yourself in a new way, in a way that you've never kind of known yourself to be. So this is because this is somebody else's version of you, or somebody is telling you, this is you, this is how you do these things, but it's not. And at that time, you don't have a strong enough boundary, strong enough self-worth, and self-acceptance to go against that. And I think as we go through this experience, of narcissistic abuse, I think after when we heal and we understand basically the dynamics of this is when we get greater understanding of ourselves. And this is where we develop stronger boundaries. No one is going to be telling you what you are, who you are, what you should be thinking, what you should be eating, drinking, wearing, none of that stuff. Because you know yourself the consequences of that. The other thing that I wish someone had told me is that it's not love, it's actually trauma bonding. So there's a big difference, and I will make a video about this because this is a topic that I really am so passionate about. But the difference between trauma bonding and love, it's not the same thing. Trauma bonding is when you bond to someone through trauma, somebody who basically is there for you, but also takes that away. So what happens is that you don't feel any emotional safety within that relationship, within that dynamic. So what you're trying to do is you're always trying to get back to that safety, to that love bombing, to the idealization stage, because that's how you've got to know that person. But the thing is, my friends, it never gets back to that. It does in little increments, but most of the time you are devalued, you are pushed to the side. That person never gives you any emotional warmth. So how they were right at the beginning, you never really get to that. I mean, it's peppered throughout the relationship or the friendship that you have, but you're always trying to idealize that person. You're always trying to figure out a way on how to make this situation better because you internalize it and you think it's actually you. But what you have to realize is that what you're doing is you're bonded to them through trauma. This isn't healthy. This isn't right. And this isn't how relationships should go. You don't have to work so hard to be in a relationship. You've got to understand that this is a cycle of idealization, evaluation, and intermittent reinforcement. Okay, if somebody are themselves, think about it, they are them, you get to know them, that person should be consistent throughout the relationship. So you can make up your mind whether you want to stay with that person or not. Not right at the beginning, the most amazing person, so intense, like literally soulmate energy, okay? And then they flip, they change. That isn't normal. That shouldn't be happening. Okay, my friends, this is why it is so odd that these people manage to do this. Okay, it is not right. Okay, it's not healthy. And what happens is that your brain basically gets addicted to those crumbs, to those little bits when they say, oh, you look nice, and that, whatever it is, they pay you compliments, but you never really actually believe them because they don't say them enough. But I wish someone had said that it's about my brain getting addicted to those little bits of information and those little bits of validation that I so crave. Now, after going through that, you realize that you don't need validation from anybody. You don't need someone to tell you that you look great in that outfit or that you're a wonderful person, because you know what? You already know that yourself. You already know that you are a wonderful person. You already know that you look good. So this is about working on your self-worth and building up your confidence. I think this is the one that really gets us. And I think, I can really relate to this. Okay, we feel that we have lost this amazing person that never existed. And that's the thing. They never existed. But in our mind, we believe that they were this most wonderful, wonderful person. And they were right at the beginning. They probably were for a few weeks, maybe a few months, for those of you that are lucky enough to get them doing that for that long. And this really is about the false self, okay? They really put their best foot forward right at the beginning. And in psychology, we form schema about people. And that's all about first impressions. And yes, they do matter. They really do. So how you got to know that person is how you will remember them. The mind struggles when the person changes and they become someone different, and you have to form new identity or new understanding or new schema of that person. So ultimately what you have to understand is that it's your brain struggling to change that view of that person. But that doesn't mean that it can't be done. And really, it should be. I think for a lot of us, we think that we have lost this amazing person, this soulmate, and that we're never going to find someone like that. But ultimately, you have to understand the mechanics of this. This person mirrored you, love bombed you, okay, showed a version of themselves that they wanted you to see. Now, I wish someone had told me that. I really do. You know, even if someone had told me that right at the beginning, I probably would never have believed them. But it is over time that you put the pieces together and you think, hold on a minute. If they were this really nice person, why are they like this? Why is everything crumbling around me? If they were this nice person and then they were all for me, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, why is that happening? So this is what you got to think. If this person really truly loved me, would they put me in a position to lose me? No. Do you know what? No, they wouldn't. So that then shatters the illusion of who you believed them to be, the schema of who you believe them to be. And one thing that I want you to know, it's not too late. You can rewire everything. And this is something that I feel very passionately about. I did my master's thesis all about this, neuroplasticity. Okay, this is something that I really talk about, and I know it's a huge topic and it's one that's dear to my heart. But you can rewire your brain. Literally, this is about you can rewire old patterns. The version of you that existed back then is not who you are right now. All right. So this is about you knowing that you can change. Like your status, your identity isn't permanent. It can be changed, and you can evolve into someone that you want to be, someone that you were always meant to be, my friends. And this is part of the book that I'm writing called Self-Regeneration. It's exactly that. So please don't think that you are behind, you're not starting over, you're starting right on time, my friends. I'm proud of you. Even though you might not feel proud of yourself right now, but I feel proud of you for being here, for working on yourself and taking the time to really do the deeper work. It's not easy, but you're here, my friend. So if this video has resonated with you, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel because I'd love to have you on here. And please check out all the services and other details that I've got in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.